Hey everyone, thank you for joining me on this Facebook Live today. I'm so excited to announce that today I'm joined by one of the leading names in chatbot marketing and mentorship, the owner of the #1 free chatbot build academy in the world, smiling at me on the other end of this chat, and the creator of the conversational marketing system. So please join me in welcoming to the show, to the Facebook Live anyway, Mr. Scott Holroyd.
How you doing, buddy?
Awesome. Thanks for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So I just want to start by saying that Scott has personally helped me in my own business immensely, not only in regards of chatbots themselves, but also with his incredible marketing knowledge, his approach to respect-based marketing, to connect with basically you, my audience, and much, much more. So I just want to say thank you for that, Scott.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to help
Awesome.
in any way that I can.
Okay, why are we getting so excited about this? In your own very unique way, Scott, can you tell us why bots are so important? Why should, above all, a service-based business like the skincare industry, like the health and beauty industry, be making use of them?
Well, to be honest, they're game-changing. They are revolutionary. They allow us, like I said before, they allow us to connect in real time, which is awesome. Now, my whole marketing concept and something that I've been teaching people around the world is how to bring in new, I won't say clients, but bring in new audience, and then how to educate that audience. So I have a system where I believe personally you should always attract people into the system, attract people into you as a person, and then educate them. Now, I don't mean to say that you have to give them a course or you have to give them something like that. What I mean is give them a deeper dive into what you do. If that's a salon, let them know. Don't just go out to them with an offer. Bring them in with something, and then educate them further on what you're offering, and then send them to a conversion, which is such as, here's the deal, here's the thing that we're going to be doing, for you. When we do stuff like that, that is completely different, because that allows us to do this on a conversation level. So we can we can say such as, hey, person's name. So we know that person's name. They can come back to us and they can reply. This, to me, is why chatbots are taking over, because no other platform does it give you an opportunity to say, hey, how are you? And then let that person reply to you and say, well, yeah, I'm okay. How are you? Who is this person? How are they messaging me as soon as I've messaged them? That, to me, is bigger than chatbots. That, to me, just that one-to-one conversation is the #1 reason why you should be getting so excited about this stuff.
Yeah, it's like this sort of behind-the-scenes thing that we're seeing with social media, showing them your business and behind the scenes, getting people to know you. But this is like doing that on a what seems like a one-to-one basis with your client, potential client, everyone like that. So it's amazing.
100%.
So you mentioned there conversational marketing. We've talked about this a couple of times. But because you're known very much for bots, it's really your way of using bots that's really the game changer, and what's setting you and your systems apart from pretty much anything else that's out there, really. So can you give us a bit more of an expanded detail on what is conversational marketing?
Yeah, sure. So, look, basically, conversational marketing is the thing that's changing the game, Chatbots are amazing. They really are. We'll go into detail about how amazing these things are, but let me give you an example of how conversational marketing works. Excuse me. So normally, let's say, for instance, that let's say that you go to a salon. Let's say my wife goes over to a salon, okay, and she has her nails done, for instance. Yeah. When she has her nails done, she comes back and she shows me, and I say, oh yeah, they look nice. And then she shows her friends, and her friends are like, oh wow, they're amazing. Yeah. And there's two questions that people always ask all the time, and it's natural. It's a natural thing that we do. We say, how much did it cost you? It's just natural. It's what we do. So then my wife says, oh, it cost me, £50 or however much it cost. And then they say, okay, fantastic. Where did you get it done? That's the two questions everybody asks. It's true. And I worked on that idea. Of how you can do that. So basically, when they've said, how much did it cost you? When they've asked, where did you get it done? My wife will then say, oh, I got it done at Adam's Nail Emporium, or whatever that may be. And
in all good cities worldwide.
Yeah. And already what she's just done there is she's just done a product, like an affiliate link, without giving anybody a link, without giving them a business card, without doing any of this stuff. Conversation is king. Conversation is key. So conversational marketing, it allows you to come into a system, okay, which we'll talk about in more detail, the actual system of it, but the marketing concept, it allows you to come into a system. It allows you to have a conversation. I'm talking real conversation. Hey, how are you? Reply back. I am fine. How are you? Yeah, I'm fine. Did you know that this weekend we're doing something, something, something? Oh, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? That one-to-one level conversation. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's teaching this. And chatbots are a way that you can just open so many doors. And I mean, I can't go too deep into it because I don't want to blow your mind, but basically what I promote as part of this conversational marketing as well is kind of the idea of, you know, when you wake up and you speak to somebody, you don't just speak to them on one level, on one platform, should I say. You speak to them in person, yeah. You speak to them on the phone. You speak to them on your SMS. You speak to them on email. You speak to them on, and this is something that I call multi-level architecture, which basically means starting a conversation on a one-to-one basis on one platform and moving it from that one platform to another platform without doing anything. That's the key. Without you physically having to do anything. It's all set up and it gives the respect back to the customer. You know, I could talk about this all day, but just to end on this bit, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, this is what my customer wants. It don't matter what industry you're in, but let's say I'm in the beauty industry, I could think to myself, okay, so my customer is going to want this deal. What I'm saying to you is you can change that and you can ask your customer what they want, and based on what they tell you, you can then send them the deal or whatever that may be. Send them the thing that they've asked for. That, on a conversational level, man, that's why I'm everywhere. That's why I'm talking on CNN. That's why I'm going to the US. That's why I'm going to Dubai. That's why I own the #1 Bot Build Academy. That's why I have the #1 Rising group, because of this concept. And honestly, when you embrace it, you'll never see anything like it. It's awesome.
How do we actually use our bots, and how do we get people talking to them in the first place?
Okay, so to get people onto there, we use something that's called a growth tool. And again, we can go into more detail on this, but basically, by using something called the growth tool, we can let people connect, again, on multiple levels. So you can connect to a bot through Facebook, for instance. You could put out a Facebook post and you could have a comment on there. You could say, hey, comment this word or whatever, and then they go into the system. That's awesome. We can have it linked to your Facebook page so that you have a button on your Facebook page. They click the button, they're in the bot. Okay, we can do it by email, by sending a link. You click that link, you're in the bot. And again, another really, really powerful way of doing this is offline. So on your flyers, on your vouchers, even in your shop window, you can have what's called a messenger code. Everybody has it, even if you use bots or not. If you go onto Messenger, you can find your own messenger code and you can print that out and you can put it on your window, and imagine the power of that. Somebody walks past at whatever time of day, they get the phone out, they have a quick scan of the thing, you know, I'm going to come, I'm going to pay, there we go, we've got it, now I've got the offer right there on my phone, it's there. Okay, I've got whatever it is, not the offer, sorry, whatever the conversation is, I've got it. To me, wow, this is, you know, it blows my own mind that I'm the guy who's talking about this stuff, you know?
It's true, it's amazing. And there's two things that I just want to pick up on there. You kind of glossed over this, you know, you can have a comment on a post thing that you just mentioned there, but this is real, and you can, like you say, someone comments on your post, and automatically you can start that conversation with it without any barrier in place, without capturing anything, without having to do anything else. And that in itself is so powerful, it's unbelievable. But Scott showed me this offline thing the other day. I just couldn't believe it. Having a flyer with this code on it, you just point your phone at and immediately your phone is having this conversation with seemingly with the salon owner. I'm from a software background and that blew my mind. So this is incredible. Right. So I hope everyone watching and listening can start to see just how amazing this can be for our industry. But if I know a lot of you guys out there, then you're probably starting to think, okay, this is starting to get a little bit technical now. So, Scott, do you need to become some sort of web developer or do you need to sort of hire a developer or anything else like that to start using bots?
Not at all. So basically, if you can go on your phone and you can send a message to somebody, you can do this. That's it. It's as simple as that. You need to have some basic computer skills, such as you need to know how to turn a computer on, but as long as you know how to turn a computer on and type on a keyboard, yeah, it's fine. It's just the same as sending a message to somebody, apart from we've kind of loaded the messages up there and then. So as long as you can send a message, no, you don't need anybody technical. You don't need to become a web designer or a software builder. It's easy. This stuff's really easy. So,
I mean, even Facebook Messenger is new to quite a lot of people, and therefore Messenger bots are still, they're still pretty cutting edge, really, That usually, to me, when something's that new, that cutting edge, usually means it's expensive. So it might be easy, but what are we talking about in terms of cost? Is it expensive to build a bot? Is it expensive to start using bots within our businesses?
It depends what route you go down. Right. If you decide to hire somebody to do this for you, okay, if you go out there and you find someone, which is not easy to find somebody who's doing it at the minute because it is so new, yep. But if you find somebody, then it can be quite costly. But you have to remember that however much it's going to cost you, it's going to save you in time. Sure. However, if you're willing to invest the time, then it costs you zero. It's free. If you want to do some advanced things, okay, which we can talk about another time, but if you want to do some advanced things, even the extra systems that you need, where you have to learn a little more, the extra systems you need, you're looking at about $10 a month. That's US dollars, $10. But if you're happy to put the time in and learn how to do this, it doesn't cost you a penny. Nothing.
That's unbelievable. I love it. The fact that this can be done for free. And I have to say, I didn't believe Scott the first time he told me this, and when he went and showed me, I was like, that is incredible. I don't believe you can do this for free. But the real key is doing this right, isn't it? You can throw a bot up there, but the real key is understanding how it works and getting it right in the first place.
Exactly.
So, in your experience, how long would it take? Let's say we've got someone listening and they think this is amazing. How long does it take to get a bot up and running and live on, let's say, on your Facebook page or your website, for instance? How quickly can you do this? And more importantly, how quickly can you see results?
Okay, so it all depends on how you want to do this. So if you have the right guidance, mm-hmm. And so if you have the right support and the right guidance, so you know how to do this, but more importantly, if you have a clear vision of what you're wanting to do, okay, this is one thing that I always promote, thinking about what it is that you want to do, because remember, these things aren't gimmicks, these things aren't, we're going to have something funky on our website or on our Facebook page where it automatically messages you. No, that's not what these are for. These are serious things. So if you've got clear vision and you know exactly what you want to achieve from it, and you have some time to invest, and you're willing to learn this stuff and embrace it, then literally, regardless of whether it's for your website, if it's for your Facebook page, if it's for your email, you can have this done in probably a matter of days. Now, with regards to how quickly people come through the system, that all depends. I've got students who have done unbelievable things. Literally, I shouldn't even tell you because I don't want to give you false promises, but I'm talking like within hours, people have had thousands of people come through the system. Now, obviously, it's a different system. It all depends on what you build. But as a general rule of thumb, I think if you invested around about 7 days in order to build what you need to build, test it with a couple of friends and family first, put it out there, I reckon by the end of that same week, you'd start having people coming through the system easily.
Amazing. That is one of the other kind of game changers here. It's not like you have to kind of do loads of work in advance. It's not like you have to write a series of emails or anything like that. You can get this going so quickly. And actually, just one point I want to touch on there that we haven't mentioned is that does set this apart from emails, because I think a lot of people might be thinking, I can kind of do some of this with emails a little bit, but I don't know if anyone's noticed, but no one's opening your emails anymore. If you send out, I think if you're getting 20% kind of read rates, you're doing well these days on an email campaign that you send out. And I'll let Scott tell you this, but what kind of read rates are we looking at when we're talking about Facebook Messenger?
It's ridiculous. So one thing I'll say before we get into that is kind of email. If you look at an email, if you look at, I'm not kind of putting this in a box, so it depends on circumstance, but most of the time, if you look at email, if you look at a website, most of the time it's static. The thing is static. So the email comes through and it kind of is a long story or whatever it is, and it's got some deals in there or whatever you have in your emails. And then you're hoping that these people will click. So exactly as you say, you know, you're looking at, 20%, that's awesome. You know, that's really good if you can get 20% open rates. Click-through rates, I'm pretty sure that you're looking at between 3 and 5% on email, something like that, and that's doing well. Yeah. So you need hundreds of thousands of people on your list who you can market out to. Bots, and done right. Okay, I have to stress this point. Done right. Done in the right way. Right? We're seeing, me, myself, my students, okay, we're seeing, check this, between 80 and 100% open rates. Imagine you send an email out to 100 people, and between 80 and 100 people open it. And I'm not talking about open it within a week. I'm talking about open it. The message comes through, ting, let's have a look at this.
Read it.
And they read it, right? So they look at it, they read it, and then click through, which is basically means people clicking what you're asking them to click, between 60 and 80%. You know, at the minute, I'll stick to those figures publicly, but I'll tell you a secret. At the minute, I've got a campaign running, and it's got 100% open rate and 98% click-through rate. 98%! You know, now that's not typical, and again, everything varies depending on what you do. Yeah. But if you're thinking as a standard between 80 and 100%, and as a standard between 60 and 80%, you know, this is just unreal. And again, it goes back to that idea. Goes back to that idea of me asking you a question, you answering the question, and us having a conversation. Honestly, this blow your mind. It's amazing.